Assalamualaikum everyone. So this is my report, pollution and pollutants. So in this video we will discuss about pollution and pollutants.
When we think of pollution, we often think of it as a visible problem. The term usually conjures up images of rubbish dumps and oil slicks. Most forms of pollution are invisible to the human eye and come in a variety of different forms. In this video, we will discuss about pollution and pollutants and the seven major forms of pollution and their effects on the environment. The first one is water pollution. This type of pollution refers to the contamination of bodies of water, including groundwater. As all living organisms depend on water to live, the pollution of a body of water tends to affect every level of the ecosystem, including human health. Common causes of water pollution include industrial waste, insecticides, pesticides and fertilizers, detergents, and oil spills. These pollutants either work by killing of organisms through their toxicity or reducing oxygen values in the water, known as eutrophication, by blocking out sunlight. The first one is, or the second form of pollution is air pollution. Air is usually comprised of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.9% oxide gases, and 0.1% inert gases. When the air becomes contaminated with other elements such as poisonous gases or particles, it can cause serious problems to human health. The most common causes of air pollution include partially combusted exhaust gases, poisonous gases which are byproduct of industry, including sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide, and carcinogenic gases released through the burning of plastic, rubber, and wood. Particle contamination can also occur when substances such as friable asbestos fibers are disturbed and released into the air. Air pollution works either by poisoning living organisms which breathe in it or by disturbing the atmosphere and mixing with their air and clouds to cause acid rain, and the case of particle contamination, particles such as asbestos fibers become airborne and are inhaled, irritating the respiratory system and causing health conditions. The third one is soil pollution. Soil can be stripped of its nutrients and therefore fertility by a number of chemical agents, and when this occurs, it is known as soil pollution. Common causes of soil pollution include pesticides, insecticides, agricultural chemicals, industrial waste, and radioactive waste. Plants depend on the nutrients in the soil in order to grow, but many of these chemical compounds absorb the nitrogenous compounds and present in the soil, which the plants depend on. Aside from making an area barren, soil pollution is a common cause of erosion, as plants and other living organisms play an important role in keeping the soil held together. When they die off, the soil splits and begins to erode. The heavy metals which get into the soil via chemical pollution also have devastating effect on the ecosystem, as they alter the metabolism of microorganisms and arthropods living in the soil. These heavy metals become more concentrated as they move up to the food chain, often wiping out predator or consumer species at the apex. Next, thermal pollution. Many industries release heat energy as a byproduct, and once released into the environment, this thermal energy is partially responsible for global warming. Yes, manufacturing industries release thermal energy into the air as well as into bodies of water. This in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, although it can dramatically alter local ecosystems. The problem arises from the excess of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. Carbon dioxide prevents heat from exiting the atmosphere, so the heat from the sun, combined with the excess thermal energy is a byproduct of many industries as well as vehicles, cannot escape and raises the temperature of the atmosphere. Global warming is responsible for the melting of the polar ice caps, which in turn have led to a rise in sea levels. Next is radioactive pollution. When radioactive metals disintegrate, they release beta rays which can cause a whole host of mutative diseases in living organisms. This is known as radioactive pollution. As the name suggests, radioactive pollution mostly comes from the nuclear power industry, either in the form of radioactive waste being dumped or improperly disposed and then making its way into the bodies of water, or from the accidental release of radioactive substances when a nuclear reactor is damaged. Once radioactive pollution is present in the environment, it can linger for decades, making enormous areas of land unfit for human occupation of any sort. Next one is noise pollution. Noise pollution refers to an excess of unpleasant sounds emanating from industry, infrastructure, heavy machinery, transportation, and even human occupation being released into the environment. In humans, noise pollution can have a detrimental effect on both mental and physical health and has been linked to high stress levels, hearing loss, hypertension, depression, sleep disturbances, and an increase in incidences of coronary artery disease. Noise pollution also reduces the amount of viable habitat for wildlife as the interference interferes with sounds and communication, making it difficult for animals to navigate, mate, and detect predators or prey. Next one is light pollution. The excessive, obtrusive, and misdirected use of light in areas of human habitation as well as in industry cause light pollution. Light pollution is defined as the alteration of natural light levels in both indoor and outdoor environments through human interference. Light pollution causes headaches, fatigue, stress, and anxiety. Light pollution disrupts ecosystems by confusing animal navigation, altering predator-prey relations, disrupting plant growth and pollination, and change competitor interaction. Those are the seven major forms of pollution and their effect on the environment.